Tuesday, and that means it's time for another edition of Wargin's Workouts. Today, yoga style. I am joined by Denise Cook. She's a yoga instructor, also the developer of a program called Spin and Yin, and you teach that at Illuminate Gym in Greenwood Village. Denise, I want you to explain, first of all, that, as people saw in that we were Olivia Newton-John thing, we were in that pose for about 30 seconds. Yin is the practice of holding poses for much longer. Why is that beneficial?
3 to 5 minutes. Muscles will tend to tighten around the joints and the collagenous material that are in the joints. And so in order to allow them to lengthen, it's staying in the poses for a lot longer.
So it's almost opposite of the yoga flow, right?
It's a complete, like, yang is yoga flow, and, and then there's yin, which is kind of the opposite, so it kind of balances. And there's a balance of that energy within our body, from our mind, from our heart being hidden and being yin, to being pumping and filling of yang. So there's all these different interesting
Well, let's show some poses, and keep in mind these would normally be ones you would hold for 3 to 5 minutes in one of your classes. And you work a lot with people that take spin classes, things like that.
Yeah, spin classes, athletes. I'm working with the Mountain Vista High School lacrosse team, things like that. So you're going to step forward with the right foot. This is called gecko pose. And so eventually you want kind of the heel to touch your glute. That's how far forward you are.
But without probably your knee going too far over
No,
your
knee
toes,
can go over. It's protected as long as there's an element of dragging that front heel back. So where you're feeling this is in the hip flexor. And that's so important as I come out of it, just as when you're sitting on a bike, you're contracting a lot down here.
I have
when you're
very
sitting
tight
at a desk,
hip flexors,
and you're sitting in your car, it doesn't matter, we sit a lot in this country.
We do.
And so we would hold this like 3 to 5 minutes. This also opens up the ankle meridians. They say in Chinese medicine that it creates more flow. And so you would take your hand down, then you would take your hand and rest it somewhere between your knee and your hip. And you'd go into what's called a twisted gecko. And so how this does is it puts a slight torque on the middle of the spine. So we want to have those natural rhythms of our spine, those natural movements. And from here? Then from here you can go into what's called an extended gecko.
And this you do much better than I do.
And then you can just go down into the full splits, and you would hold this for 5 minutes.
Unless you have extremely tight hamstrings like myself, and then it doesn't work so well. But this is how you...
You can also go forward, which gets more of the back. So there's different elements to that. Then we would come in, and you would bring the foot behind you and go into what's called a shoelace.
Oh, whoops, I did that one wrong.
So the shoelace, you stack your foot over your knee over your foot.
And this is another one where it's very tight.
Little IT band tightness there. So what this works on, again, is the tightness in the outer part of the knee, the tensor fascia that runs across the hip and the knee, the IT band that runs down the side of the leg.
And so important, because you don't even realize how much the IT bands affect the rest of your legs and can affect the rest of your body
so much, because it can lead up to your neck to have, you know, problems even up here.
And that's even something you could do if you're just sitting watching TV sometime. And it's the same thing. You're keeping these poses for a long period of time. Okay, we have about 30 seconds left. Let's do our last one.
So the last one we could do is like this one. Fold our feet in front. So this is a great decompression pose for the bladder, the spleen, and you just basically fold forward and you just smell your feet.
You picked like some of the most difficult poses. I can do eagle and all those really well, but these are my toughest ones. I know.
This one is very, very calming, the head below the heart. Yin is very calming for the mind as well. Because it brings you down as far as the, you know, you think about how energized we are these days with the new iPods and the new cell phones and technology.
All right, very good. Okay, so yin and, or spin and yin.
Spin and yin, or just yin, it's all good.
Or just yin, all right. Denise, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. If you want some more details about Denise and her classes, she also has DeniseCookYoga.com. You can go to the sports webpage at 9news.com. Look for Wargin on the web, and I'll have a link for you to get hooked up with her. All right, Kyle, there you go. Absolutely.
That looks like that would be hard for me to do.
Oh, well, you know, you and I have
that
some
means
of the same problems with hips and things like that, and we do. We need to stay open.
I know. All right, thanks, you guys. That was great.